Greetings, my good bitches. The name's Francis, Coke Francis. I'm an editor, Twitch streamer, drag artist, and I'm here because I'm trying to sell out, but no one will buy me. But nonetheless, I have huge news to share with you all. I, Queen Coke Francis, will finally be ending the age-old debate over which Nicolas Cage movie really is the worst. Between Worlds is a supernatural romance thriller with none of the above actually in it, and is instead just 80 minutes of Nic Cage sex scenes where he looks the worst he ever has. It also contains dialogue which could only be described as ChatGPT having a stroke. See, this movie wasn't released. It escaped, and I couldn't be more excited to share it with you all. But before we suffer together, if you are a fan of watching a very tired drag queen talk about nerd shit forever, I ask that you please find yourself embroiled in a spyware deal gone awry. But instead of paying the blackmail money you owe, assert dominance by going ahead and unzipping your pants and dick slapping those like and subscribe buttons as hard as you can. So we're gonna kick off Between Worlds with this Lifetime movie ass opening and oh no. So as you can see, this movie was written, directed, and produced by Maria Pallera. This is a Maria Pallera movie. It is her film. She wrote, produced, and directed it. This movie is what Maria Pallera wants us to see. I just want you guys to keep this in mind as we continue. And boom, here we are. The main man himself, crushed under the unbearable weight of massive talent, Nicolas Kim Coppola, who's playing an alcoholic truck driver today. Really quick though, I just want to say, I actually love Nic Cage, and even though I make fun of him a bunch in this video, it's mainly due to the movie he's in and the way that they made him look for this movie. Anyway, he's giving some Carhartt realness here as he explains to his boss why he hasn't met his quota yet. And look, truck drivers being imposed with these nearly impossible quotas is a real issue, and they don't get paid nearly enough. That said, why does he have so many f***ing rings? Like, so many rings. He's more ring than man at this point. Wonderful. Awesome. Really cool. This is literally how they film people in my 600-pound life. So it looks like Maria Pallera is trying to go for this Lynchian vibe where everyone's just a little bit off-putting. Like, it seems like it's blending funny with dark and sinister intentionally, and yeah, let's see where this goes. So Joe here, his name is Joe by the way, Joe hears the struggle bus pull up in the bathroom and he decides to go investigate. And sure enough, he finds a woman getting choked out in there by an even shittier looking dude.
We don't hurt women down south.
Try that in a small town. But can we talk about what's so much more disturbing here? If I may be a snobbish film student for a moment, this is such a sloppy cut to such an artless shot. Like, we're mostly just getting a big shoulder here. It's depicting a dramatic act that's actually going to be central to the overall story, and it's given the most unceremonious intro shot.
Next time, why don't you wrestle a man-gator?
What does that even mean? If someone said that to me while they were beating me up, I would laugh so hard. And then they'd beat me up harder, and then I would laugh even harder because I have a nervous laugh, and then that would make them beat me up even more. And this is my way of telling you all that I'm a masochist. So this woman is named Julie, and she's played by Franca Potenta from Run Lola Run, a good movie. And she is really upset that her choking session was interrupted because apparently that's how she can communicate with spirits, and she somehow expected Joe to know this. The last time I used that excuse, an Uber I didn't request showed up in a matter of seconds.
Do you have kids?
Wife and daughter, you like?
Oh, beautiful.
Oops, they're dead.
Ah yes, the lame snappy answer to the perfectly reasonable question method of exposition. So Julie does explain that her daughter Billy was in a coma due to a motorcycle accident earlier that day with her scoundrel boyfriend whom Julie holds resentment towards. If I may though, you know, as someone with a BA in film, what is happening here? What is this music playing underneath?
Keeps the blood vessels from opening back up.
What is this blocking? What is this editing? What is this scene? And most of all, What is this line?
This strangling business is insane.
So this is the first and certainly not last case of a character saying a line that is so incomprehensibly stupid that it just makes you sit and think for a minute, you know? Just makes you wanna take a minute and contemplate the fact that someone or something wrote it. Oh, and apparently that was her in the frozen lake during the opening credits. Apparently that's how she learned she can cross to the other side and communicate with spirits. She has to be on the brink of death, and choking is the best way to do that, I guess. I mean, now that I think about it, I can't really think of a better method, so work? So Joe and Julie go to the hospital and Billy apparently has regained consciousness, but then she takes one look at Nic Cage and slips back into her coma. Good God, I wish I was her. Okay, see this right here? This should have been the angle they used for that introductory shot because it communicates that there's something significant going on when she's being choked. So Julie manages to cross to the other side and apparently is able to get Billy back into her own body, and thankfully there is a nurse here that actually believes in all that shit. I'm not sure if Miss Maria intentionally cast someone with a slight Jamaican accent to deliver that news. Typically in movies, white people are more at ease with the supernatural when it's explained to them in a slight Jamaican accent. Billy's boyfriend also comes to visit, and okay, hear me out. Just hear me out. Please hear me out.
Oh no, he's hot!
But Billy wakes up and she, really likes Joe. Really wants him to stay there. Says a lot of things that make old Joe Bags quake in his boots.
I just want to look at you.
That makes one of us. Okay, I know this is gonna sound super shady, but I have to get this off my chest. This character is supposed to be 18. Billy is 18 years old. That is a long 18. Like, she got a lot of mileage on her for 18. Just to be clear though, that's not this actress's fault. Like, she looks fine on her own, but as you'll see through the entirety of this train wreck, everybody's foundation is just caked on so grossly. I'm surprised they didn't have CoverGirl as one of the production companies at the beginning.
Girl, look how orange you look.
So Julie invites Joe back to her house for some coffee, and thankfully the editor decided to ruin the surprise of them deciding to bang because this is a thriller, so why bother creating tension? But yeah, apparently for no reason other than he isn't a complete asshole, Julie decides to bang Joe because the bar is in hell. And look, you guys all know that I'm a total ghoul chaser, but I have to ask, why is the bar for women in literal hell? He looks like Zoidberg without his shell here. Women, hey, pay attention, all of you. You deserve better. All of you deserve better. Oh, except maybe Laura Loomer. Really looks like other mother pooped out the smiling titan. Here's the thing. I'd be fine watching a sex scene with her. I would even be fine watching a Nic Cage sex scene. If he didn't look like this, if he looked any other way, even if he was dressed as a clown, like as long as he was a clown that showered yesterday, it's amazing how much the way he looks makes this scene not work. And again, just to reiterate, Joe is a freshly unemployed, alcoholic, smelly, balding, and mulleted truck driver with too many goddamn rings who can barely stay awake, and when he's hopped up on caffeine pills, says crazy shit like this.
This strangling business is insane.
And Miss Maria Polera wants to see a movie and wants us to see a movie where this guy gets it on with a beautiful German woman. This is her vision. And most of all, hat stays on during sex.
And then he got sent to Iraq and Afghanistan.
Oh, shit.
Literally my response when someone tells me they served. Are you kidding me? Speaking as someone who does this for a living, the editing in this movie is absolute dog shit. Nothing about this movie flows. It's like they're trying to just get it out of the way as quickly as possible. So they bring Billy home and Joe escorts her to her room where the production designer clearly has no idea what 18-year-old girls are actually into. And Billy keeps saying some really weird shit to Joe.
You're always leaving me, and
I don't do well on my own.
Sorry?
This is what I assume to be an important scene. Show me Nic Cage's eyes, damn it. Show me what's going through his head while all of this is happening. No, instead he's gonna keep making that noise. Stop making that noise.
Hold daddy tight.
Oh god, there's gonna be so many more noises. My misophonia cannot deal. So if you don't believe me yet about the editing, check this shit out.
So you're not gonna pay me?
Yeah, I'm gonna pay you.
How is this legal? Can't we at least classify this as, like, a misdemeanor?
That's dog shit. That's not even bullshit.
Now, look,
That's just dog shit.
Exactly. Thank you, Nick.
my company says I gotta pay you $18.46.
1846? You can get a 2-bedroom house in Alabama for that amount of money. Or maybe he can sell some of those goddamn rings. I know that's a very boomer capitalist thing to say, like, maybe don't buy so many avocado toasts. I don't want to be that guy, but maybe he could sell just some of those rings? So the boyfriend shows up again, and please just hear me out. But why is he looking directly at the camera? Also, maybe I'm crazy and the bar is in hell, but her boyfriend actually seems like a pretty nice dude. The friend is a dumbass. They should definitely dump him. But boyfriend here actually took responsibility and is genuinely trying to be there for Billy and help her recover.
Beautiful weed.
Dude, shut up. Any good that comes out of this movie is from Franca Potente. And she and Nic Cage actually do have pretty good on-screen chemistry together, especially when they're allowed to just be a couple of silly billies together. Those are the kinds of scenes where direction should be minimal and you could just allow your actors to play and have fun with it. The problem is that the direction is minimal for the entire movie. They were given nothing to work with. Miss Maria, girl, you're allowed to tell people what to do when you're directing a movie. But yeah, every time Julie and Joe get it on, Billy's always standing over there watching for some reason.
Mum said it's my turn on the Xbox.
I take that as a yes.
F***ing what? So Billy's clearly not all there since she's going through her mom's underwear drawer and taking her wedding rings and lusting after Joe, and I don't know, am I the only one who figured out what's going on?
Do you want a beer?
Does the Tin Man have a sheet metal cup?
Did they just let Nic Cage say whatever he wanted for this movie? So we're about halfway through the movie now, and I just realized that there's a Billy and a Joe in this household, and I feel that this movie is being held back by the fact that Julie is not named Armstrong. Check out that shirt. Is that the man-gator he was talking about earlier?
Why don't you wrestle a man-gator?
So Joe is explaining to Julie how his wife and daughter died in a fire. Again, it's super obvious that he was given no direction whatsoever, so he had to resort to default overacting Nic Cage.
She's 5. She was 5.
And some folks say my punch-ins, punch-outs are too jarring. Who is the editor of this movie? I just want to talk. Billy calls Joe over to her room to show him something, and good Christ, it's even shot like a porno. But here's the big ol' twisteroo that I saw coming 20 minutes ago, or however long this movie is. When Julie crossed to the other side to put Billy back in her body, the spirit that actually took over Billy's body is none other than Joe's deceased wife, Mary. And no, this isn't just a ploy by Billy to get Joe to sleep with her. She knows every tiny weird detail about him and their daughter and their relationship and the fact that they share a last name. So this is a pivotal scene. It could be a potentially good scene. A hot, tense, creepy scene. I can almost see what Maria Polera had in her head. But in execution, they're playing it so dorkily.
Mary's dead, so you have some respect for my wife, or I'll spank it into you.
There's such big dorks in this movie, and it gets dorkier. And again, I'm sorry to harp on this, but is her makeup supposed to look this bad? You gotta use primer, girl. I'm wearing 2 types of primer right now. That's how I look flawless. Anyway, right now they both got pores like a Yakuza game. There's too many medium close-ups with terrible lighting and bad makeup. Everyone and everything in this movie looks like shit. So yes, upon realizing that he is in fact speaking to the spirit of his dead wife, who in all honesty kind of sounds like a crazy bitch, Joe starts a sexual relationship with attractive teenage, not Billy, as well. But even with this woman actually being his former wife, can I just ask, what is it about this man that makes women want to bang him so bad? Why do you care whether or not this man puts his dick in you? Some shots in movies are from a bird's eye view. This one is from a ceiling fan's eye view. So here's yet another horribly placed edit of Joe banging his wife back when she was still alive. I only know that's her because I've seen the rest of the movie.
You're just gonna fuck it up. Like you did with your husband.
Dude, Mary actually sounds like evil.
She's gonna come between us.
Like, legitimately out of her mind. So my assumptions from earlier are confirmed when Julie goes to visit the magical token black character who can explain all the spiritual woo-woo to her. And while she learns that Billy ain't Billy no more, Joe continues to bang Mary, who conveniently ended up in the body of a teenager so that he can say really cool things like this.
Oh God, you're such a little tart.
It's time to stop!
And we cut back and forth between this and that stupid flashback from earlier where Joe is banging Mary in, what is this, a treehouse? This man has not bathed since Hootie and the Blowfish was relevant, and he has been inside 3 women in the span of 80 minutes.
Read to me from memories, Joe.
It's time to stop, okay?
Yes. Really.
Your tongue's joining above me.
No more! I'm gonna call Child Protective Services.
I'm sputtering. So this was the moment where me and my co-producer stopped and said, what was Maria Polera thinking? Who even is she? And this sent us down a rabbit hole of research, and what we found was super not what we were expecting. Send $3 million or I'll expose you. A businessman, a filmmaker, and an alleged Israeli spyware deal gone awry. An anonymous complaint to the Defense Ministry alleged that a veteran player in Israel's cyber world, Eric Banoun, and his business partner, Maria Polera, tried to sell spyware to Egypt, but they insist that a former colleague recently released from jail is trying to blackmail them. I'm gagged. On January 8th, 2024, an anonymous complaint landed in the public inboxes of the Exports Control Department of Israel's Defense Ministry and of the U.S. International Traffic in Arms Regulations Agency. The subject, a secret cyber transaction worth more than $40 million. The same email with its attached documents alleged that an Israeli French citizen and a British American citizen were involved in the sale of Israeli spyware to Egypt without the requisite permits. Citing impressive documentation, the complainant specifically charged that Eric Banoun, a veteran figure in Israel's cyber industry, and Maria Polera, an independent film director who also dabbles in offensive cyber, had sold invasive spyware capable of hacking smartphones and secretly copying their entire contents to a private company behind which, no, not a paywall, ostensibly stood the Egyptian government. Well, anyway, we learned that Maria Polera is not only a terribly inept film director, but also a terribly inept spyware salesman. Get you a girl who can do both. Woo! So Julie comes home when they're banging one day, which gives birth to this beautiful line.
What was that? You don't have a cat. You don't have a cat!
And she catches them, and Joe tries explaining to Julie that Billy is actually his wife, as if A, Julie's gonna believe it, or B, that it's actually going to justify, and I cannot possibly stress this to you enough, banging her teenage daughter.
Put your f***ing pants on, you gross!
Okay, now she's getting it. Just like watching someone finally leave a pyramid scheme.
Billy.
Dude, your wife is like actually psychotic. Anyway, Mary tells Joe to go back home with her, but not before another terrible goddamn edit. I'm overreacting, aren't I? It hits different for me, that's all. I'm not sure how gung-ho the boomer punks are about copyright laws nowadays, so I'll just bring up the fact that, oh my god, Billy's boyfriend is a Black Flag fan. They're playing Fix Me in the background because I can fix him. I love how the two Black Flag songs they used are Fix Me and Nervous Breakdown because it's just so on the nose. Keith Morris deserves reparations after this. So this actual psychopath decides that, you know who definitely has enough money to help someone start a new life and is also worth killing somebody over? Two 18-year-old potheads in Alabama. And she convinces Joe to, how do I get around the YouTube censors for this one? Make the friend lifant? Is that good enough for you people?
Maybe he's not dead. Maybe we should call an ambulance.
I mean, he is still breathing, but I don't think that was intentional. Just a lack of attention to detail. Miss Maria.
Please put the gun down, Mike.
Oh, his name's Mike.
They shot Rick.
What?
They killed him. They almost killed me.
Oh my god.
Okay, so I know she's still pretty out of it after getting knocked out earlier, but her reaction to hearing that her daughter murdered someone is my reaction to when I, like, forget to take the garbage out on garbage day. So Joe and Mary go back to their house that was burned down apparently by her cigarette, and Joe starts seeing visions of his daughter over some Edward Scissorhands at home choral music in the background. And what the f is this editing?
A ghost is taking over Billy's body like some sort of hermit crab.
It's another one of those lines that just makes you sit and think about it. Should build a reflecting pool in honor of this dialogue. So this idiot is actually smoking a cigarette on the couch here, which is apparently how the house burned down in the first place. Like, I know you guys can't call the cops right now because of everything that just happened, but could you at least call the Red Flag store and ask for the biggest one they've got?
That was your conscience and it thinks you're a piece of shit.
Oh my god, I actually laughed so hard. Give this man an award. Mike is the star here. So after they all get into the lamest Mexican standoff ever, Mary reveals that she made their daughter lifant before she set the house on fire intentionally. Girl, I can't imagine why your husband wanted to get out of the house as much as possible. So Mary shoots Julie, but this allows Julie to finally get Heather Graham at home to leave Billy's body. And good riddance. She literally ruined 6 people's lives. She is out. She is HOTTOGO. Billy and Mike are reunited at the cost of her mother's life, and god damn it, Julie deserved so much better. I hate this movie. Can I just say though, can I just say right now up in here on this day, Nic Cage in a drunken stupor, sitting against a dirty wall, being like, Sarah, playing a torch Jack in the Box. Cinema. This is cinema. Of course, this wouldn't be an unintentionally hilarious Nic Cage movie without him setting himself on fire in some way. So Joe lights himself on fire and takes the house with it. They're playing the song Leader of the Pack here, but Maria, if I may offer some constructive criticism, I think this would have been a much more appropriate song choice. So before we finish this stupid movie, as I was rewatching this scene, I couldn't help but feel like I had seen it before elsewhere and done better. And that scene ended up being this one from an actual thriller called 1408. So the context here is John Cusack's character is a skeptical author who checks into this notoriously haunted hotel room. And once he's trapped there, the room's clock radio starts ticking down from 60 minutes. And he's haunted by the dozens and dozens of people who have died there, but more specifically is tormented with visions of his estranged wife, his terminally ill father, and most devastatingly, his deceased daughter. The clip I'm about to show you guys is wildly upsetting. Content warning here for a child being lifant, so if you want to skip past it, I'll put the timestamp to do so right here. Also, spoilers in case you haven't seen this movie yet, which you really should.
I wish we could stay together.
Everything's so fun. No, you can't be good twice. No! You
you bastard!
And after this, the clock resets to 60 minutes, meaning he's condemned to relive everything he's already seen all over again. But taking his daughter from him a second time was the last straw, so he improvises a Molotov cocktail and burns the room down for good. Now, clearly, 1408 had a much higher production budget than Between Worlds, and they were able to actually make the set look like it had burned down. Instead of a house with one room that looks like it might have had a small wastebasket fire once. But the emotional weight and meaning of this scene has nothing to do with budget. It came from a director who had definite ideas and stayed committed to developing them. It created an atmosphere. The tone was enveloping and consistent. There were plot points and details throughout the rest of the movie that culminated in the cruelest thing the room had done to him so far. The end of it is legitimately shocking. Also, John Cusack is goated, and I would totally smash you didn't just hear me say that.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
And unfortunately, none of those things happened in Between Worlds. Is this a shitty ending? Yes. But get ready, good bitches, it's about to get a whole lot shittier. Because after they drive off and we fade to black, we're treated to a scene of teenage Joe making his abusive dad lifant. Aside from not Billy fleetingly mentioning that Joe's dad was abusive like halfway through the film, there is literally no indication that this happened otherwise. It doesn't recontextualize anything. It's a nonsensical image to end on. What exactly do we learn from this? That Joe is just as psychotic as his wife? That he was always capable of murder? Does this explain his depression and alcoholism? Would the story that came before change at all if this scene had been left out? Well, I know you guys shot this scene, but like, we don't really know where to put it in the movie, so I got it. Let's make it the final moment of the film. I guess we have it here at the end of the editing timeline anyway, so might as well drop it in. F***ing brilliant, Tim. Didn't you guys know? Endings don't matter. You can just put whatever scene you want there. Nothing matters. Just do whatever you want when you get to the set or the editing booth. So, what did we learn? The best thing that could be said about this film, it's not the worst thing to come out of Israel. Maria's direction was essentially be a slut, do whatever you want, get high, deny Christ. Actually, that should have turned out a better product. I am sputtering. So this movie came out in 2018, which was during a time when Nic Cage was taking chances on a lot of like indie projects like Mandy and Mom and Dad, so I can see why he saw promise in this movie. On paper, it's not a terrible idea. It's a decent premise with lots of opportunities for drama and tension and suspense. Maria Polera really lucked out getting Nic Cage and Franca Potente to star in this low-budget indie movie, especially one with this high of an ick factor. And oh, ick it was. So ick, too ick. And as far as we, the audience, can see, all Maria Polera wanted to see was Nic Cage in these icky situations. Ictuations? There was no tone, no vibe, no vision at all. Any serious moments made me literally laugh out loud, and any comedic moments made me cringe into the next dimension. The other thing is that we need more women in film. We need more female film directors. And I'm not gonna sit here and be like, Maria Polera is a woman, she should make movies about this, this, and this. She can obviously tell whatever story she wants to. But the reason we need more female film directors is because we need perspectives that are different from their male counterparts. My assumption is that Between Worlds was intended to be a mysterious, sexy thriller. This movie could have been an opportunity for the portrayal of sexual liberation for women, or even what's commonly called the female gaze. If you want a great example of the female gaze, you should definitely watch Outlander, which has a production crew with a much higher ratio of women to men. I know this is a very heteronormative way way of looking at this, especially for me, but based off of this movie, we are talking about heterosexuality in this case. Between Worlds is one of the most male-gazy movies I've seen in a while. All the female characters fall into the same stereotypical, if not toxic tropes, and they all throw themselves at this literal bag of dirt for seemingly no other reason than he is just not an asshole. Again, Maria can tell whatever story she wants, more power to her, but a big part of my disappointment in this absolute mess of a film came from that lack of a unique perspective. Also, full transparency, I wrote a very short review for this movie back when it first came out, when I was still writing for a horror site at the time, but the haunting sounds of Cage coitus quite literally made my brain repress it. It wasn't until I was brainstorming for a bad movie review that this one popped up in the hallowed halls of my brain chemistry. So I wanted to take the opportunity to really break this bad boy down for your viewing pleasure because it was even worse than I remembered. But I'd rather watch a horrible movie that I think about forever than one that's instantly forgettable. So I guess Between Worlds served in that case. Anyway, I'm exhausted, you probably are too, and I'm hungry, so let's check out the winning comments from the last video. Candy Joe says, Francis reading yaoi with a cadre of queer snark machines is my new ASMR. Wallaby Dan says, my favorite Vance drag name is Courtney Loveseat. And finally, Marycat Ikasu says, truly, Coke Francis's passing is a tragedy, but at least another of my favorite people is waiting for me in hell. You too could be featured in the next video. Leave a comment below. I will pick my favorite ones and give you a shout out next time. If you would like to guarantee your name being featured at the end of every video, please consider joining my Patreon. You are welcome to join for free, but if you join any of my membership tiers that are conveniently named after Fallout protagonists, your name will be mentioned at the end of every future video. You might also get access to cool shit like wig sneak peeks, no context spoilers, exclusive community chats, and my secret box. So if you love my videos and my drag, you can support this channel directly by clicking the link to my Patreon in the description box. If you would like to see me simp for my favorite game characters and get visibly frustrated in real time, please follow me and my beautiful co-producer Mitchell on Twitch. I stream most Sunday afternoons Pacific Standard Time, and we are still raising money for the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. If you would like to see even more of my clown mug elsewhere, please consider following me on Instagram or TikTok. My handle for all of the above is at queencokefrancis. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't done so already, please find yourself embroiled in a spyware deal gone awry, but instead of paying the blackmail money you owe, assert dominance by going ahead and unzipping your pants and dick slapping those like and subscribe buttons as hard as you can. Thank you again to all my patrons and those of you who have been helping my channel grow and thrive the way that it has been, and of course, as always, until next time.